But yeah, this is it. Descending into hell. Wow. Hello and welcome back. My name is Jacob Todson, and you're about to embark with me on one of the most ambitious projects ever filmed on Irish spirituality and belief. Well, at least here on YouTube. Over the course of the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you a series of videos filmed across Ireland with the aim to answer this question of, what is the spirit of Ireland? I will not be alone in this journey, as I'm joined by my friend and community member Kevin in our camper van Seamus over the course of these next 2 weeks on this road trip, journeying across hundreds of miles of Irish territory. From fields to sheep to mountains and waterfalls, we will wind our way along the narrow country roads of the Emerald Isle, all with the final goal to attend one of the largest fire festivals in all of Ireland at the Hill of Ishnach. We will also be joined by several guests who will lend their voices to telling the story of Ireland in the past and where it's heading towards in the future. So buckle up, pour yourself a pint of Guinness, and join us in this mad dash across Ireland, and be sure to subscribe for all upcoming adventures. Today, in episode 1, we're talking about the history of Ireland. Hello and welcome to the first adventure here in the van. I have Kevin. Kevin has been on a few episodes. The guy was so happy to see you wave. Well, so we're in Ireland, everyone, and we're on our way to a really special place today. But before then, Kevin, who are you?
I'm Kevin. I'm a pagan, mostly Norse and Gaelic, and lived in Scotland for a couple years. Yeah, that's about it.
What makes you think you're qualified to be on this show? Besides you're good for a laugh.
I like to think, and hopefully I can have some good, unique perspective. Maybe, hopefully, get people to think about things in a different way that they might not have thought of before.
What do you think most people will know about Ireland, as far as like the ancient sites here?
Hill of Tara. Newgrange.
I would say that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Blarney Stone?
Yeah, the Blarney Stone.
So just for the audience, like the main idea behind each of these videos, so essentially every day we're recording, we're sharing with you what we're doing. We have a pretty strict itinerary. But today's theme is actually Irish history, specifically ancient Ireland. And so as you've probably been introduced, there's a voiceover version of me that's giving you much more specific details. What we're doing here in the van on location is we're taking you somewhere really interesting. And this was recommended to me by Kiva, is this cave supposedly is an entrance to the other world, to the underworld, and also is tied to the Morrigan. There's like a legend, a myth behind it. And that's kind of a lot of Ireland, is a lot of these places have a mythological tale that goes along with it.
Yeah, I think this cave, I had never heard of the cave until you mentioned it yesterday. It ticks all the boxes. So throughout Ireland, the fairy trees and the hill forts and caves and burial mounds, all entrances to the other world through the Shee. This one has a cave on a hill underneath a hawthorn tree that is all the things you're looking for. This has them in spades. I think that just so much of the landscape of Ireland is tied to the old stories that you can see it written on the landscape here.
Now, for a brief history of Ireland, between 10,000 and 8,000 BC, the ice began to melt from the last ice age, allowing the first human settlers to begin to hunt and gather in what is now known as Ireland. And around 4,000 BC, the first signs of agriculture began to appear, and it is around this time that people began to leave a more permanent mark on the land, building earthen structures to house their dead, and this very quickly escalated them building one of the most impressive stone structures, which is older than the pyramids of Giza, and that is New Grange. Stone monuments can be found all across Ireland, and many of them date from the Neolithic period. In fact, there are over 1,000 known tombs and 300 plus stone circles still standing in Ireland today. The story of Ireland is a story of migrations and invasions. The story is sometimes debated and is often painted into a mythological lens. However, this is the commonly accepted migrational order, and I definitely want to apologize for the pronunciation of these names, but I'm trying. The Pertini, the Belgae, the Lachin, and finally, the Milesians. Mythologically, it is said that the Milesians came in contact with the original Irish gods, the Tuatha De Danann, and they struck a deal with them that the Milesians shall rule the earth above the ground, and the Tuatha shall rule the realm below the earth. This would not last very long, as Ireland was converted to Christianity in around the 4th and the 5th century, much of this recorded in the stories of St. Patrick. It was also around this time that Ireland was officially divided into 5 kingdoms that would play a major role in the history of Ireland going forward. And those kingdoms were Ulster, Meath, Leinster, Munster, and Connacht. There is also a surprisingly deep history of Irish laws contained within the Brehon laws. And one of the things that happened during this time is that occasionally a High King of Ireland would be elected, One of the first times this was actually done is when the Vikings invaded, because all the kingdoms of Ireland had to come together to face this new enemy. The Druids also played a surprisingly interesting impact in Irish history. Many of these Druids converted into Christianity and became monks, which added a very interesting and unique touch to the church that was established here in Ireland that was often in conflict with the Roman Catholic Church. The invading Vikings would last until around the 11th century when the Irish would finally repel them out. And it was only a very short rest period before Ireland was once again invaded by one of the descendants of the Vikings when it came to the Norman invasion of 1169 by Richard de Clare Strongbow, changing Ireland once again forever. The Normans would eventually occupy and control Ireland for a very long time until England took official control in 1541. Ireland would remain under the control of England until 1921, when part of Ireland would become the Republic of Ireland after a very long history of conflicts and oppression. Despite the victory gained during the independence movement, Ireland has not found much peace, as the northern part of the country still remains under the control of Great Britain, and this has led to many political and cultural divides among the people of Ireland still to this day. Ireland's history is long, dark, complicated, but the spirit of the people and echoes of the past can still be seen in Ireland today. Now, from my research and my explorations into ancient history, the history of Ireland is not too drastically different as far as timelines. We had the hunter-gatherer period, we had the Neolithic period, we had the early farmer period, we had the, monument builders, and then we had the Bronze Age, the warring cultures, and then Christianization. This is a pretty common story, sadly, across most of Europe. However, what makes Ireland so unique is the fact that the ancient history of the monument builders was, and the burial passage grave builders as well, was incorporated into the mythos of the Tuatha Dé Danann. Their mythology was incorporated into the ancient history of this land, and that's not really something we see as directly in the mythologies such as the Norse.
The folklore and mythology is so, you don't need to dig for it here.
No, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it's so just enmeshed in culture and society here that driving down the road, you'll see a field, and then like for crops, and then all of a sudden a tree or two in the middle of the field. You're like, why didn't they cut that down? Because it's a fairy home. The people just believe and understand that there are things more important than needing every single square footage for crops.
Driving through Ireland it's a lot of farms. So the people here would have been very, very focused on the agriculture because, it just seems like it's really good growing land. There's lots of big, giant swaths of land. Obviously, it had trees on it at some point, but then it rains here all the time. So as far as the thing to grow, this place was probably great. And that's why it was so sought after. And the people would have been very tied to that agricultural lifestyle.
It's called the Emerald Isle for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very green and gray.
Yeah.
It should have been called the Grey Isle.
Yeah. Whole sense of Irish hospitality.
Yeah.
Is a thing, absolutely, and it's an ancient thing. It was one of the old Brehon laws was hospitality, that it used to be if a stranger was traveling and happened to stop by your home, you put them up for the night. As society evolved, they realized that wasn't quite going to work for everybody, so they created a position that was an official, like, hostel keeper. You are commissioned by the king to be a place for travelers to stop in and everything like that. And one of the rules was you had to always have 3 different meats available for consumption.
I feel like you're making this up.
I'm not making it up. My 3 animals a day is.
I love how you have to specify animals.
Yeah.
Not meat.
Animals. Yeah, 3 different animals a day. Don't always do it, but it's always a good day when I do. Then I discovered the Brewy voiceover for a proper pronunciation.
You think I'm going to voice over you to have... Oh, there's a ring for it right here.
Ooh.
On our first day, we had driven for nearly 2 hours to reach this area of Ireland that was famous for its role in the story of the Táin, a story of conflict between the people of Connacht and the people of Ulster. The story contains many mythological heroes and gods, but what we can still see today with our own eyes is the remains of many hill forts dotted across the countryside. These hill forts look nothing more than hills today. However, they still do bear the memory of conflict that once took place over the beautiful green hills of this Irish soil. So what are you expecting for Ali Nagat, or whatever this is, Nagat?
if you're watching this video and you don't see me afterwards, it's because I was drawn deeper and deeper into the cave, and I went to the other world.
This is a deep cave,
Yeah.
it looks like, and it's very narrow. Last night, he actually made me like, if you see me go deeper, stop me.
Yes.
You get, what, 3 feet in? Like 3 steps?
Yeah, and then there's the Oum.
Well, yeah, there's the Oum, but then you said you only wanted to take like 3 steps
Yeah,
deeper.
maybe let's go to like 2 meters in.
2 meters? Okay, now it's 2 meters.
Yeah. By the time we get there, it'll be 5 meters, yeah. But yeah, there's just something absolutely incredible about these sites that just draws you in.
In case I haven't said it in this video so far, really make sure you subscribe to this series, because this series is going to be between 8 and 10 episodes or something like that at this point. Each episode is going to feature different locations across Ireland, different topics, different bits of information to really capture this identity of the spirit of Ireland. So make sure that you subscribe to this and keep up to date, because as soon as this is done editing, which is going to take forever, as soon as it's done, it's going to release, like, one after the other. So it's going to be this huge series. I hope you enjoy it. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking forward to see what happens.
Raph Krogan, yeah.
So yeah, we got lots of cool stuff to see. So now let's go ahead and head into Ali Nagat and see what's happening with this. And you can take this break to go down below and say you horribly mispronounced that. We know.
Yes.
We know. We're trying. But wow.
And just because we're meeting with an Irish language teacher tomorrow does not mean it's going to be better.
So we were just walking around, and the sign's right here. We were thinking, where is it? And we turned around, and there it is. It is just a hole in the ground, but that's it. And something I forgot to mention for the cat lovers out there is this is also, the name translates to the Cave of the Cats, associated with Morrigan. And the legend around it is the original Samhain festival, so the Celtic version of Halloween, as it is known. The legend says that this is where the first one took place. But yeah, this is it. Descending into hell. Wow. As we explore Owen Nagat, here is a bit of the folklore behind the aptly applied names of the gates of hell. The Irish hero Nera saw a vision that led him to a cave where he was captured by the fairies and lived inside for some time. While captured, he took himself a fairy wife. His fairy wife told him that his visions were of destruction for his queen Maeve at the time of the next Samhain festival. Hearing this, Nera escaped the other world and warned his queen to the coming conflict. After the queen secured her victory because of Nera's warnings, he decided to move back into the cave to stay with his fairy wife. The cave has also many legends and folktales tied to it, including it being the home of the Morrigan, the fierce war goddess of Irish mythology. And due to its associations with the story of Nera and the Samhain festival, it is often called the birthplace of Halloween. There is also an Ogham inscription in the cave that mentions the name of the very queen in the story surrounding this amazing historical landmark. As you can see, it's pretty tight, but we are in it right now. The gate to hell in Ireland. Oh, there's that. That's nice. There we go. So here we have the Ogham inscriptions right here. Let's see if you can shine a light down that way.
Oh, down here?
Oh my gosh. Ooh. It goes down.
Does it go anywhere that way?
No.
Just right there.
Yeah, just right there. And this will be the last recorded footage of Kevin the world will ever see.
You going down that way at all?
I'm good. I'm in the entrance. I have a fear of being underground.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so this is already a lot for me. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah. So what do you feel? Do you feel anything?
Like you, I'm not a big cave person. I'm not really claustrophobic on land, but like underground, I get that way.
Yeah.
But there is part of me that just wants to keep going further into it.
Yeah, it looks like it goes back pretty far.
Yeah.
As far as like the map says and everything like that, it goes back pretty far. But you can definitely, now that seeing that it goes down, I think that's definitely where it feels like the gate to hell, to the underworld.
Yeah.
Is it just keeps going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the added, I mean, If this was just a hole in the ground, it would be like, it's just a hole in the ground. But it's the fact that it's tied to the Morrigan. It's the tied to cats. It's got Ohm inscriptions in here. It's got this great legend behind it.
Yeah, it's tied to Queen Maeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Like, so much of the landscape and the places are connected to names in the stories.
I mean, that's one of the inscriptions on the Ohm here is of Maeve.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's instantly connectable to the history and the mythology. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
So something we're doing here as well is because, with the content here and us both being pagan, is reaching out to the other side, not just appreciating history, but becoming a part of it as well. And so we came out of the cave and we were thinking, what should we do? We should give an offering, because if you think about it, we just entered into the lower realm, a place where a hero went into to find a wife, a fairy wife, a place tied to the Morrigan, a place tied to death, tied to cats. And so the fact that we were able to go into the entrance and then come out of it alive, we should give an offering of thanks and gratitude for being allowed to enter into the other side. And so we have milk with a little sweet chili.
Sweet chili sauce for a little spiciness, because it's Morrigan.
And then I have a more traditional, well, milk is very traditional, and then I just have some honey. So we're just going to offer it on the outside here, and just be grateful and acknowledge the presence and the spirit here, which I think is just a way for us to, again, reach out a little bit deeper and connect to those energies of the place.
With the journey through the gates of hell behind us, we make our way to our place of rest in the evening Galway, where we find ourselves some food and rest to prepare for the next adventure across Ireland. Coming up in the next episode, I share with you more about the fairies of Ireland and introduce you to the first of our road trip interviewees, who shares his perspective of the hidden folk and why he believes in them still today.